this incredible feeling in your body, which feels like you're getting out of your body in one sense, but only. Ayahuasca. It has this name with it, right? Ayahuasca, wow. Ayahuasca ceremony in Peru with the shaman in a ceremony, and sounded always really, I was always curious, of course. That's why I'm on this psychedelic journey by itself. And so, yeah, but in the end, it finally happened. Now here in Thailand, I finally made it happen that I found someone who offers ayahuasca ceremonies, but not in the common sense where you go to like a retreat center or something. It's quite different here. It's rather, I contact him and he says, okay, let's do it. Do you know some people? And I was like, yeah, I know some people who want to do it. And so in the end, we were like 5 people. And then he said, let's meet, let's talk about it. And yeah, so I finally got the chance to meet ayahuasca after I have experienced a lot of DMT, smoked DMT. I was always curious about how ayahuasca is compared to DMT, because what ayahuasca is, in essence, it's DMT combined with MAO-inhibitors, which makes DMT possible to ingest it orally, right? So that's why I was always curious about the feeling of ayahuasca, how it compares to DMT. And well, we met this guy, let's call him John. And John, me and some other people, we talked with him, and we just wanted to see if there's a vibe between us, because I think it's always really important for psychedelic journeys, especially when you're under the guidance of other people, when you put your life into the hands of someone else, you really want to trust him, right? It really has to be a trustworthy guy, and you also have to feel the connection. So yeah, we met, and I had a good feeling about John. It felt right, and it actually was one of the first times, right, where I really gave away responsibility for my psychedelic journeys, because with my experience and with my experiments with the psychedelics, I was always in charge. So I was always focused on which substance I'm going to take, how much I'm going to take, what's the setting, what are the people I'm doing it with, and how am I feeling, what's my set, and all these kind of things I gave away, right? So we came to the agreement that we're going to meet on Tuesday night in a random house I didn't know, and with some people also which I didn't know, or it was just one person in the end I didn't know. And we had to do some preparaments, like preparing for the ceremony or the ayahuasca experience. So what you need to do is, right, we got a yoga mat, and we prepared with this special diet. So because the MAO inhibitors, which you're going to take with ayahuasca, are not good to be combined with certain foods, like meat or cheese. That's why you try to not eat those kind of foods in the days before the experience. So there are really, like, some people say, yeah, you should stop 1 week before, like 2 weeks before. You have to really be really strict with your diet and everything. But scientifically, this doesn't make any sense. So I didn't do it. The only thing I did was 1 day before, like 24 hours before, I stopped eating those kind. I mean, I don't eat meat and cheese anyway, but I stopped using a lot of spices, and I stopped using a lot of fat and everything. So that was my preparement, and it was fair enough. It was good enough. And the day of the experience, we came to this house, and we entered the house, and yeah, there were our friends and my partner, and also another person I didn't know, and John. And so we put our yoga mats on the ground, and it was a really nice feeling to give the responsibility away for these psychedelic journeys, which I experienced for one of the first times. So it's actually really nice to give away responsibility and just go with it and see what happens. And you don't have to be cautious. You don't have to be careful. Really, you just say, hey, I trust this guy. He knows everything. He does everything, and okay, let's do it. And that's what we did. So yoga mats on the ground. Okay, everybody sat down. Everybody settled. And we got used to the environment. We felt ourselves in, and then we meditated all together, meditation. We all came down to this place to do the ceremony, and yeah, it was a nice experience. Like meditating together is always a nice feeling. I feel like to start anything together. That's what I usually do when I have a call with other people. We do a meditation first, like 5 minutes meditation, which sets the tone for the conversation. Really, it changes the whole experience of human conversation if we do a meditation first. Really. So that was the first thing, and then we took the ayahuasca, which this particular shaman, John, he did it a little bit differently. What he did, or what he does usually, he doesn't serve ayahuasca as one drink. He serves it as two, because ayahuasca in general, it's just on the one side it's DMT, right? It's a leaf that is cooked so long until it gets like a liquid with the DMT inside. And the other one is the ayahuasca string. I don't know, it's the ayahuasca plant. And this is the one where the MAO-inhibitors are in. And John, he has two drinks with these two plants inside, so it's not one. So the first thing we did is drinking the MAO-inhibitors, and then he started some music, and then we waited for 20-30 minutes for our stomach to really absorb the Maui. And during this time, the music was like nature sounds and birds and rain. It was really calm. And it's already night, right? It's already dark. Everything is dark. The light was quite dim. There's just a few candles and a little bit of light. Because ayahuasca is typically experienced at night, right? It's also called night meditation, which has a huge advantage in terms of traveling into your own subconscious mind. Because what many people do, right, with normal psychedelic trips, like LSD, for example, or anything, is when you do it during the day, usually your eyes are not closed, because these colors, you want to see these colors. It's really bright and interesting. It's beautiful. But for real, and you can see that as well with normal psychedelic therapy, right, as executed in the current scientific studies, people always use these eye masks, these eye shades, because that helps our mind a lot to go inside. Because otherwise, if we just see, and if our eyes can be open, we're gonna open them eventually and see what's around us, because we always want to stay a little bit in control, right? So when you put everything dark, it's much easier for us to travel deep inside. And that's one big advantage of ayahuasca that I experienced, that it's a lot easier for people to travel inside, to go on a trip inside. And then we took the DMT, so the ayahuasca combination was complete, and after 15-20 minutes I felt the DMT coming up, and I was always curious about if it is actually like DMT, if it's really like DMT orally. And it was also interesting that I felt it so early, because for me it wasn't interesting, but it's actually a common thing for me that I feel substances really early, which leads me to thinking, or my theory is that I can really easily let go, which I experience with many other substances like 5-MeO, DMT and everything else. My ego is well trained to let go. So it's quite easy to let go for me. Like, of course, not every time. My ego is also quite rebellious sometimes, like all our egos. But yeah, and this day again, it was very easy for me to feel it, to get myself into it, and to close my eyes and to really feel it. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful to come up, because it was just like DMT. It was the same body high. It was the same body experience, the same feeling in the body. And if you have ever drunk ayahuasca, or you have smoked DMT, then you know what I'm talking about. This incredible feeling in your body, which feels like you're getting out of your body in one sense, but on the other hand, you feel your body more. It's super weird, and it's just it's like elevation of body feeling. and you also get this ringing tone in your ears, like zzz. And again, it was just a feeling like when you're on you're on the road the whole day, then you come home eventually, and you just go to your bed and you just fall in your bed like this. I am home. And this was actually the same feeling I got from ayahuasca, because it was so beautiful to be home in this DMT world. But one major difference is that it's because it's orally consumed, and your stomach absorbs it, of course, a lot slower than when you smoke it. It's quite long, right? The journey is like 4 to 8 hours, as opposed to 20 to 30 minutes with DMT smoked, which allows a lot more thinking, which allows a lot more observation of your mind. And how it felt for me actually was it was DMT, but because it was not as strong as smoked DMT, you know, it was not as intense, it was really easily, I could easily observe my subconscious. I could easily see the processes underneath what I can observe in everyday consciousness. So imagine your everyday waking consciousness is what you experience right now, probably, maybe not, but right now. And you experience the dots are connecting, and you see you see your reality unfolding in front of your eyes. You see, you feel, you experience, you have thoughts, you think about things, you see thoughts, like with meditation, everything, you can see thoughts. But all this is just what your brain allows you to see. It's just the illusion of your brain that is like the most simplified way of experiencing reality. Meaning, underneath this reality in your brain, there's a lot more going on, right? It's like the tip of the iceberg, only what you can experience and what you see. And all this that is underneath cannot be experienced with everyday consciousness, with everyday waking consciousness. So with this experience, I really strongly could access my subconscious mind and visualize it and see it and experience it. So what I experienced was a lot of internal dialogue that is going on in all of us all the time, because the dialogue we can see and feel in the conscious mind is only a fraction of what is going on in the subconscious mind. So with psychedelics, of course, we can much more see what's going on underneath and see what this is all about, and also make new realizations that we couldn't have done before, because our ego is so stubborn sometimes, and is hindering us from seeing those thoughts underneath and using those thoughts of our subconscious mind to our own benefit, to our own greater benefit. And yeah, that's what I saw. So as with every psychedelic, I was just diving in my subconscious mind and saw many realizations. So for example, one big realization was in this internal dialogue that I realized that my life goal, my mission, is to combine spirituality and science. Because I was always a science guy, and now during the past years I more gravitated towards spirituality. But what I want to do is really combine those two worlds, because I don't think it's a good idea if we're too scientific and neglect the spiritual side, but also if we're too spiritual and neglect the real understanding of what is going on in this world. So we're not being diluted by many things that can actually delude us. So I think it's about combining these two worlds and realizing that they're not different. They're actually the same thing. And it was really nice to have this realization, like my life purpose. And it was a good realization. And the next one I can remember was that a huge load of bad emotions swept all over my body, like, and I felt so horrible, and I felt like, yes, this is horrible. And the saying, the internal dialogue which I was speaking about. Some people call this talking to ayahuasca, talking with Mother Ayahuasca. Well, in the end, it's just your subconscious mind. So if you believe that you will talk to ayahuasca, you will experience talking to ayahuasca. If you believe rationally that you're only going to talk to yourself, then you will experience it like only talking to yourself. And that's what I experienced. And I told myself basically, yes, Yasha, you have bad emotions. Feel your bad emotions. They're here. Don't neglect them. Do not forget them. They're important. Feel them. So I felt them. And this gave me, again, this is helping, right? This is what I changed the last couple of years anyway with myself, because 5 years ago I was quite disconnected. I was disconnected from my family, from my friends, from love, from everything, just because I didn't want to feel it. And it's all, of course, because of traumas from childhood. But I was working on that, and I worked on that a lot during the past years, and now I have really a good connection to my emotions and to my feelings, especially also to my bad emotions. And now I can really welcome them. I can welcome negative emotions because I'm happy that they're here, because before they weren't here, because I always pushed them aside. But pushing them aside means that you're coming in a mode where you're just pushing aside emotions and feelings, and your brain is not as smart as being able to push away negative emotions and letting all good emotions in. Because these good emotions that you're gonna let in this way are just short-term emotions. When you take drugs, or when you're emotional, when you want to get short-term emotions, like this is all short-term. What our brain usually lets in when we're in this mode where we just don't want to feel bad stuff. So as soon as we start embracing and really embracing vulnerability, embracing negative emotions, as soon as we do that, we can experience so much more life value, so much more beauty and joy. And well, in this experience, they came again and they told me again, like, don't forget us, feel us. Whenever you feel bad, go inside, let it happen, let it feel your bad emotions, because they're here for a reason. If you never want to feel them, they're gonna magnify eventually, and they're gonna make you more disconnected, so feel them. Yeah, and then I had many other realizations about my partner, or my girlfriend. It was beautiful. It was just pure love, pure bliss. I felt a deep connection to her, a deeper, like, cannot put it to words. It's my soulmate, and I felt what she does for me, and I knew that it's not about me getting better for whatever, for material things, or me getting better for myself. It's all about, Yasha, if you want to get better, then get better for her. That's your mission. And that's what I experienced again. It was beautiful. And then some things about my family, because that's funny, right? When you're doing ayahuasca, or especially like all psychedelic journeys, most of the times you have some intentions, and you want to think about this. I want to correct my relationship to my mother, or some things like that. And eventually it's totally different. And that's how it is like this was with me and with ayahuasca as well. I wanted to think about this relationship, and then I got this relationship where I really felt a lot of pain and a lot of struggle, and I felt it's your mission to help this person. It's your mission. You take responsibility in this case. Just take over responsibility, and because you worked on yourself so much, you're such a happy and fulfilled person. Now make other people happy and fulfilled. It's your mission. And yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And eventually the ayahuasca subsided, and it got weaker. And then what was really annoying, this one other person, which I didn't know before, was really loud and was really just moaning and purging and everything. And then I felt also some negativity in me, because I projected this negativity to myself, and my negativity I projected outside. And eventually I felt that in my stomach something is wrong. So there was the ayahuasca that wanted to get out. So I tried to vomit, to purge. It didn't really work, like not really, but maybe it was like this. But I definitely felt better after I really allowed myself to purge and to get it out and to feel bad. And ayahuasca can be so effective for some people or in general because it's such a deep connection between mind and body. It does not only affect your mind like all the other psychedelics are doing, it also affects your stomach, your body. So it will make you feel bad in some sense in your stomach, which leads to have more negative emotions, which leads to focus more on the negativity in your brain, on the negativity in your mind that maybe that bothers you for quite some time. And by then purging it out, you get this huge feeling of relief. And this huge feeling of relief combined with the negativity that gets also out of your system, this can be really healing. And that's why I think ayahuasca is really a good substance to for transformation. And also like the whole experience around ayahuasca, the ceremony with other people, the connection to other people, the shaman and the night, and you just go deep inside. It's a really nice experience for anyone, so to say. And yes, that was my experience. It was really powerful, a really nice experience. Got many insights from it, much more than sometimes with other psychedelics, owed to the fact that it's meant to go inside. Ayahuasca is meant to go deep inside your subconscious mind. It's not meant to look at a tree and see how the tree moves and stuff like that. It's really meant to go inside, and that's really nice, and I enjoyed it a lot. I would do it again, and I plan to. And I hope you liked my video about my ayahuasca experience. If you like it, it would be nice if you can like and share it or subscribe to this channel, and I see you in the next video. If you want to contact me, my links are down in the video description, and I see you in the next video. Goodbye.